Today in the workshop is the Canon C500 Mark II, Canon's top-of-the-line digital cinema camera. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to compare it for no particularly good reason to what was once one of Canon's top-of-the-line cinema cameras, the Canon 1DC, which when it came out, I think in 2012, not only was it clearly close to the top of the line, it was the very first camera, as far as I can recall, that could record 4K internally on CF cards. This was a revelation at the time, and though the camera had some challenges, notably its ludicrously high price, it turned out to be revolutionary, and it really led the way to what we have today in internal recording of really high quality file formats, including RAW. Now I'm shooting this introduction on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. I'm doing that in 6K RAW on that camera, and we'll throw a couple comparisons with that camera in it as well. With regard to the two cameras that are primarily the point of this comparison, the C500 Mark II, currently the top-of-the-line cinema camera in the Canon EOS cinema camera range, is a 5.9K sensor. It records RAW internally to CF Express cards. It has dual slots, and it's a very powerful camera. It features a number of great improvements over the 1DC from more than a decade ago, including multiple ND filters that are assignable from a camera button conveniently located on the side of the camera body. It has EF lens compatibility, which I'm currently utilizing. It also can be, I believe the user can switch the mounts to PL, so if you have PL lenses. It provides phantom power to a mic, such as the NTG3 from Rode that's mounted on the camera right now, and just as really ergonomically a proper cinema camera experience. So the downfall of the Canon 1DC is it was based on the 1DX spec at the time, the 1DX being Canon's top-of-the-line pro photographic model for sports and journalism shooters. Really a fantastic camera, but it has none of the cinema camera features, so ergonomically it's really difficult to use, whereas the C500 has a pretty decent touchscreen monitor that it comes with. The back of the 1DC has no flip-out monitor, it's not touchscreen, it's a little hard to use for focus, so almost everyone who ever used that camera wired up an external monitor to it. In this case I have a 7-inch monitor via HDMI wired up to that camera. What we're going to do is just do a comparison in a worst case shooting situation. You will likely, hopefully not find yourself in this situation during a project. What the situation is: late morning sunlight, very harsh, clear blue sky, very hard light, very contrasty light, very deep colors. It's summertime, so we're going to be shooting in a forest near a river. Lots of reflections, lots of harsh light. This is going to be a real torture test for our comparison. I'm going to be shooting in XF AVC on the C500 Mark II, and the only thing that 4K is recorded in on the 1DC is motion JPEG, which was another source of frustration for people when that camera came out, because it records in a really, really high bit rate and makes very, very large file sizes. C-Log 2 is what I've got set up for the C500 Mark II. Both are going to be shooting through Sigma 50mm f1.4 art lenses for an exact match. They both feature full-frame sensors. So this should be an interesting comparison, only because we have what once was clearly close to the top of the line with the 1DC and what is now the top of the line in the C500. And for fun, I'm going to throw in the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro, the BMPCC Pro, and that has a 6K RAW sensor as well, very similar in that respect to the C500 with its 5.9K sensor. So without further delay, let's take a look and see what these cameras can produce. Okay, we're now back in the workshop after running those series of tests, and I'm recording the conclusion to this video on the Canon EOS 1DC. And that should give you a hint about something I'm going to talk about in just a moment. Takeaways from this test are, clearly the C500 is the best of the bunch. There's no doubt. It produces the nicest looking video. It uses the full width of the sensor. It has the best dynamic range of the group, and just overall is the superior camera, and I don't think anyone should be surprised by that. The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera, I think, comes in second for its dynamic range and the detail that it captures, but it's a little bit different to work with than the Canon files. What I noticed is that the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera colors, while great, they're vivid, they're terrific to work with, they're not the same. Blackmagic's color science is different than Canon's. What I noticed with Canons, across all the Canons that I've ever shot with, including the ones in this test, they are extremely accurate. They are 100% true to life. So what you see through your eyes, you are generally getting in the Canon color science. And that is really nice, especially if you're doing any documentary work or you want to have reality as your base to work from. Canon is superior to the Blackmagic camera, in my opinion, in that regard. Which is not to say that the Blackmagic camera is not great, because certainly for artistic looks, something different, that's going to perform well. Now the 1DC, I think, is the surprise kind of winner in this test. The Canon 1DC, as I said, came out more than a decade ago. It was the flagship, in a manner of speaking, because it could record 4K internally. It shouldn't hold up, in my opinion, quite as well as it does against these newer cameras, especially the C500, and yet it does. It lacks the same level of dynamic range. The detail it captures isn't quite the same, but it's close. Bang for the buck, a used Canon 1DC in good condition is a tremendous value investment. And that's why I'm shooting the conclusion on the Canon 1DC. I think it earned the opportunity to do this conclusion. And it earned the opportunity to be part of our camera kit, which we're going to be using moving forward. The 1DC is a relatively new addition to all of our camera kits that we have here at Visual Imaging Solutions, and we're going to be using it a lot, especially for creative filmmaking, because it is still a magnificent piece of equipment even now, and we're happy to have it. So I hope you like this test. Like and subscribe, and visit us at visualimigingsolutions.com, as well as on our YouTube channel. We hope to post a lot of additional good content for you moving forward. So thank you very much for watching. We'll be back with another video soon.